Good morning, children. In this class, we are going to study the remaining factors were responsible for nationalism. Third important cause behind of the Indian nationalism is economic exploitation of India. The spirit of nationalism was fanned by the discontent and anger against the British rule. The British systematically destroyed the Indian trade, industry, and crafts. They were only interested in filling their coffers with no benefits for the Indians in any way. Under the economic exploitation, we can study about the peasants' sufferings. The Indian peasants were the main victims of the harsh British policies. Under the Jamindari as well as Raitwari systems, the peasants were at the mercy of the landlords. They were forced to borrow the money from the moneylenders to survive while the government took away the large portion of their produce in the form of land revenue and other taxes. To increase their profits, the British forcefully cultivated the cash crops like indigo, opium, jute, etc., as they fetched the higher prices in the world market than the food crops. This led to the shortage of food crop production and the consequent rise of the prices of food crops. Handicrafts were stagnated. In the wake of increasing influx of machine-made goods from Britain that were superior in quality and also cheaper than the Indian goods, the Indian handicraft industry faced the ruination. Further heavy duties were levied on the export of Indian goods led to an unequal one-way trade. What affected India's economy adversely all the more was that destruction of Indian handicraft industry was not followed or encouraged by the growth of modern industry. This left lot of artisans unemployed. Dissatisfied educated youths. The educated young men of the country were becoming dissatisfied by the lack of opportunities available to them. Promotions and higher paid jobs were reserved for only British. Deserving Indians were denied top positions on superficial grounds. Surendra Banerjee, an ICS official, was dismissed without any reason due to the racial prejudice. The deliberate policy of the British to rule the country for the interest of England and to keep out the Indians from their legitimate share in the administration of their own country wounded the feelings of English educated Indians. Government ignored the people's welfare. The welfare of the Indians was completely ignored. The burden of taxes were increased while the living standards of the people suffered. Expenditure on military operation, army and police maintenance increased sharply while there was a total disregard for the basic requirements of the common man in the country. No government help was provided in the case of natural calamities like famine, whose impact became the severe due to the unresponsive economic policies. Thus, India under the British rule was transformed into the colony that existed to serve the interest of colonial power. Another reason behind of Indian nationalism is repressive policies of British government. The Lord Lytton was the viceroy of India from 1876 to 1880. The short-sighted acts and repressive policies of Lord Lytton really acted like Catholic agents and accelerated the movements against the foreign rule. Age limit for the civil service examination. In the year 1877, the age limit to sit for the ICS examination was reduced from 21 to 19 years. This proved to be the real handicap for the Indians and reduced their chances of success. The Imperial Durbar. In 1876, the British Parliament passed the Royal Titles Act, which gave the Queen Victoria the title of Empress of India. This was announced by the viceroy on 1st January 1877 at a magnificent darbar that was held in Delhi. Lord Lytton, he wanted the darbar to display the splendor of the British Empire. More than 80,000 people attended this darbar, including the 63 Rajas and the 300 chiefs of India from Kashmir to Tanjavur. The proclamation that gave the Queen Victoria her new title of Empress of India put the Indian princess, who ruled about 1/3 of the land, on a lower rank and made it clear that British were paramount power. The Darbar was held during the Great Famine and was a terrible waste of money at a time of so much suffering in India. The Press Regulations. Vernacular Press Act or Gagging Act. After the revolt of 1857, the attitude of the British government towards the freedom of the press clearly changed. In 1878, the Vernacular Press Act was passed, modelled on the Irish press laws. It provided the government with extensive rights to censor the reports and editorials in the vernacular press that would excite the dissatisfaction against the government. From now on, the government kept a regular track on the vernacular newspapers. The Indian Arms Act. Lytton's government passed the Indian Arms Act in 1878. It compelled the Indians to acquire the license to keep, sell, or purchase the arms. The offenders were to be punished both with a fine and imprisonment. But the English, Anglo-Indians, and government servants of certain categories were exempted from this act. Thus, most of the administrative measures of the Lytton were against the interest of Indians. Gilbert Bill Controversy. In those days, a European enjoyed the privilege of a trial by a judge of his own race. No Indian magistrate could try any European criminal. Lord Ripon tried to do away with this inequality in the courts. So, in the year 1883, a bill was introduced by C.P. Gilbert, the law member of Viceroy Executive Council, granting the rights to Indian magistrates to try the Europeans, which means they can judge the Europeans also. This angered the European community, forcing the government to withdraw it. Thereafter, it was decided that through an Indian magistrate or judge could try the cases against the European offenders, that accused would have the benefit of a trial by jury, of which half of the members were to be the Europeans or Americans. This controversy left behind the deep sense of defeat, disgrace, and humiliation in the hearts of Indians.